Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barientos. Thanks for joining us today. We're brought to you by Russell & Associates, and again, speaking with head coach Tom Sawyer, and a wrap-up of another win. So congratulations on that. Again, don't want to put words in your mouth. It was a back-and-forth game against Mary. Tell us a little bit about what happened this weekend.
We won. You were 3-1. I mean, it doesn't feel like it, really, to be honest with you. We have so much more to bring to the table, I think, and our kids are, we're absolutely excited about the win, but we haven't played our best football game yet. So I think we're still working on those little things, a couple big plays, a couple mental mistakes, but otherwise we played a much better football game than we have. And it really wasn't a half of football. It was, they got a couple scores on us, but we handled the game. We were in control of the game the whole time. There wasn't any panic. Again, we have a good, resilient football team. We really showed grit. We had a couple kids go down. We lost 2 running backs in the game, and the next 2 guys came in and did a great job behind that big offensive line, and our defense stepped up when we needed to. So that's kind of our MO right now is, one goes down, one comes in, and let's keep getting better. And I think each week of the last 3 weeks, as we've had the same conversation, but our football team's playing better.
All right. Now we'll get to all of that for sure, but I want to start with something that we almost never start with, and that's special teams. And that's because I want to highlight Jake Blue, because he had a great game, over 100 plus punt yards, but he also became the all-time leader in punt return yards in Winona State history, as is Kevin Curtin in that category, which is obviously a big name in Warrior football. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that record and what Jake has meant to this program.
Well, I tell you, I didn't know that, to be honest with you. I hadn't heard that yet, but that's amazing. Jake Blue, like Kevin Curtin, are those guys when the ball goes up and the punter's getting ready, everybody in the stands pays attention. It's like, okay, what's going to happen this time? And he took one to the house this time, and he had another one that he took that, he is so confident and a little bit crazy in a good way as a punt returner, because you got to be fearless. But the thing took a big hop. There's bodies all around him. He just took off, went and grabbed it, and took off, and made a bunch of people miss. But that is a huge weapon. It's got us obviously great starts to field position, that kind of stuff. But it's a special gift to be a punt returner. And a lot of people think they can do it, and very few can do it well.
I know a lot of times when we're in the booth and we're talking about that, we're still marveled that people actually still kick to him. Are you surprised that they give him a chance?
Well, I mean, you have to kick it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to. There's a guy in college football that's not kicking it. Well, you see how that's going for him. But I really think that it's such a weapon that it really changes their punt team. And this punter had been struggling. He only had a 31-yard average going in, and then you got to kick it to a guy like Jake Blue. That's a problem. So, and we have really good players on that return team. So, when they get it on the field to play, it's a pretty good chance that something big's going to happen.
All right. You talked about a couple of running backs went down, and Dominic London kind of came in, and that's one of the things that we were kind of talking about yesterday is the travel roster, and who do you bring, and what kind of depth do you bring at the running back position. I don't want to say you got lucky, but you had a capable running back in Dominic London step in when 2 other guys go down.
Yeah, you got to remember that Javian Roebuck, he was an all-conference player a few years ago and only played 5 games. And then you got Ty Gavin, who's like a freshman phenom kid from Chicago, has unbelievable skills. And then you got a 3-star recruit like Dom that came in, who was a Gopher recruit, a bunch of years ago. And also Noah Carlson scored his first college touchdown, who ran track at Michigan. So we got 2 of the best athletes that ever played football in the state of Minnesota in the backfield, and they're our 3rd and 4th running backs. So moving forward, we just know that we got to get them schooled up and ready into our systems, and now they're ready to play, and you see the results.
So can you give us any update on the injuries to Javian Roebuck?
Yeah, Javian Roebuck will be fine. I don't know if he'll go this week or not. He has a sprained ankle. He's fine, and Ty fell funny on his elbow, so we're getting that evaluated today. We'll see where he's at, but he may miss one, but we hope to get him back in a short amount of time.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the passing game. Obviously, Owen Burke is having a great season, over 1,000 yards passing in the first 4 games of this year. And again, it's the distribution to all the different wide receivers, although there were a few to some of the different wide receivers this week.
Yeah, well, part of it, go on the road, you have a smaller group, but we also distributed the ball a little bit more to our backs, a little bit trying to get some matchups that we thought were really good, along with our tight end group. Jalen Schleicher made a couple really nice catches for us as well. But what Owen does best is he understands football. He gets us right. He gets us the right pressures set up. He's really kind of in charge of his own hits. So when you put it that way, he sets it up. But he's calm back there. The protection was good this week. They didn't pressure as much as Duluth did, but at the same time, our protection was really good. And when he's got any time at all, he can thread the needle. He throws the ball hard. It was a little bit windy that day, but yeah, he had another great day for us, and that's the expectation we have of Owen.
All right, tell us a little bit about kind of the back and forth nature of this game against Mary, because you score, they score, and it just kind of went that way through the rest of the game. Talk about how that went.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those deals where our defense is like so close to being amazing. It's like we're really good, but we could be even greater if we would just stay away from the home run. They threw a double pass. You know, we had a flea flicker last week, had a double pass reversed back to the quarterback who was playing receiver, and they threw one and scored on that. So we're trying to stay away from that big play. And they had 2 of those in the game. Another one where we went for an interception and missed the interception, that kind of thing, or hit the pocket. But we have some young guys back there. Cam Gavin didn't play either. So Mitch had a different partner back there with him in the secondary. But those guys they're good players. We just got to, you know, just don't be too aggressive. Do your job, and everything will be fine. If we stay away from that kind of play and moving forward, we're just that much better of a defense.
Talk about Mary's passing game altogether, because Logan Nelson had a big game, 31 to 43, 403 yards, most of those to 2 different receivers, Kipner and Little. Talk about why maybe they had a little bit of success this week.
Well, that's their style. They're going to throw it 50 times. That's it. You know, we saw the same thing with Moorhead a couple weeks ago, but they're very good. They get the ball out quick, so our pressure really didn't matter. The ball was gone. And those 2 receivers are really good. That kid is, you know, Hittner is a kid that, you know, he's like Jake Blue. You know, they're fast little dudes. They get their hands on it. They make a guy miss, and all of a sudden it's a 30-yard play. But they're really good. Quarterback is good. He's a senior. He's a big, strong kid. So we had some opportunities to sacks, but he kind of bounced off it as well. I think that, you know, overall, I think we did a pretty decent job. I don't really care about the yards that much, so we can keep him out of the end zone. But again, he did make the play when they had to in some of those big tricks, and we got to stay away from those.
All right, the rest of the defense, Clay Scheffner, who was on last week, had 8 tackles. Mitch Snicker, who's going to be on in just a little while, 7 tackles this week. Talk about the defensive play kind of overall.
No, they're playing fast. You know, that group up front, we're unfortunate we didn't have Coach Ulrich with us this weekend at a family emergency, but so there was a little disruption there with not having him there because he's kind of our field general on the sideline, but Coach Curtin and Coach D'Amico did a great job, along with the players, really stepped up to rally around that. But they're playing really well. Up front, Cole Liberty is a man. We've had him in here too, and they just can't block him without holding him, and they hold him every down. I had tried to, you know, convince the officials to take a look at that a little bit more, but he's dominant. Devon's playing really well along with Clay, and then Mitch back in the back half is really starting to play well, or is already playing well. We got another pick as well. So start looking at each level. We're starting to get better and better. In fact, Ben McCabe played really well in the football game as well at outside linebacker. So we just got to, really, if we stay away from the big hit, we shut that offense down.
You know, it's a couple weeks now that you've been talking about how the defense has been held, and I don't want to get you in trouble with the officials or anything like that, but I do want to say, so how do you manage that on the sidelines? If obviously people are upset, you're upset with no calls, how do you kind of calm the team down and tell them, okay, let's just forget about it?
Well, we have the golden rule that I'm the only one that can talk to them, and we found out the other way. We had one of our players talk to an official, it cost us 15, and ended up costing us a touchdown. So that's something we just have to do. I've known these guys for 25 years. They're friends of mine. Majority of them are. These guys I've known for a long time. I can have real hard conversations with them. I know I'm not going to get a penalty. Most days I know when to just zip it. But I'm going to fight for our guys. And, you know, they know it. Our guys come off the field and they talk about it. I go right back out and talk to them. They don't want to listen to players. They don't want to listen to assistant coaches. They really don't want to listen to each other sometimes. But I think the relationship that we have at the end of the day is going to help us just by being professional about it as best we can. And that's how we try to handle them.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. We'll get the player perspective next. Carter Berlin will join us right after this.
Attention Warrior Nation, join the WSU Football Players Association on Friday, October 8th from 7 to 10 p.m. as we salute Coach Tom Sawyer for his 25 years as head coach of Warriors football. Everyone is invited for this night of food, fun, laughs, cheers, and tears, and all proceeds benefit Warriors football. Scan the QR code or visit WinonaStateFootball.org to learn more. Special thanks to our sponsors for making this incredible event possible. Space is limited, so don't delay. Register for the Salute to Sawyer event today.
Meet Jenny Siseski of Edina Realty. With nearly 30 years' experience, she knows that right now is the best time to sell your home. Jenny will help you get top dollar, higher than ever before. With today's low interest rates, it's time to upgrade your home and increase its value. High demand and low inventory also make this a perfect time to list your home. Call for a free market analysis. Contact Jenny Siseski at Edina Realty today, 507-458-7038.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. Time now to talk offense with Carter Berlin. Thanks for joining us here again.
Appreciate you having me. Appreciate it.
You know, we've been asking all the guys that are seniors that have come back, you know, how difficult, I suppose maybe not even difficult, what was the decision like to come back this season after having last year scrubbed and, you know, you could move on with your life, but here's this chance to play football one more year. Talk about your decision to come back.
Yeah, it was pretty easy, to be honest with you. You know, all of us kind of, you know, I lived with three other seniors, and, you know, as soon as we found out the season was canceled, we were kind of like, well, if we get that year back, I mean, we got nothing better to do, you know. We're going to come back, and especially, you know, how the way we ended last year, I was injured in the middle of the season, so I was eager to get back out there. But it was I mean, especially when everyone's came together, and, you know, Von Cam, Owen, Carter Duxbury, Tyler Anderson, you know, Cole Liberty, Jake Blue, they're a year older than me even, and they're like, yeah, we're coming back. And I was like, all right, well, let's strap up, let's get to it then. So it was pretty easy for us, especially, you know, with a guy like Coach Sawyer and all our position coaches, you know, we had unfinished business and felt like we had to come back.
And then one of the other reasons why I asked that is I tried to look on social media to see what I can find to talk about. During the pandemic, you retweeted a photo of Maxwell Field with the sunset in the background, and you said it's the best place on earth. What does Winona State mean to you?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of crazy that it's coming to an end after, you know, 6 years here. But I really grew into a man here, and, you know, Coach Sawyer helped me with that. You know, he's been here every step of the way, and Coach Claw too. You know, he's kind of guided me through things, showed me how to do things, and, you know, said you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. And then kind of the group of guys we still got here. I mean, we came in with 45 in our recruiting class, and there's 8 of us left. You know, us group of 8 really came close and really just kind of said, this is where we're going to be, and, like, let's make the most out of it. So Winona's been everything to me. I wouldn't have picked anywhere else to go. I'm completely glad I picked here, and I've been here for the last 6 years.
You know, I'll just build on that, Carter, but one of the things is I think that the transition that you guys made as a senior class or the upperclassmen is the crossover between offense and defense. It's something that in some years and some teams it's really difficult because you become competitive and then you don't join. But you guys lived together and hung out with both sides. How big of a factor is that in our growth now going into this year?
Yeah, it's huge. Because I remember coming here as a freshman, you know, there was bickering back and forth from offensive, defensive guys, and you're like, oh, that's actually real beef, you know, like, that's interesting. But at the end of the day, on Saturdays, they'd come together. So we kind of looked at that like, we need to have that all the time. And it'll be better for us in practice. It'll be better, you know, just throughout the week, just building that chemistry and just, you know, accountability at the same time, too. You know, on the defense side, they're gonna do what they need to do to make it so that we win the game, and, you know, we're doing the same thing, and it's for each other. So, like, that's been huge for us, and it's definitely hopefully shown to the younger kids on how to do it, and so that stays the same throughout every grade.
You know, you look at going into the rest of this year. I mean, here we are going into week 5. I mean, I can't believe it's going that fast. We're almost half done, but, you know, going from good to great. We talk about a lot. I talk about a lot from a player's perspective, especially offensively. What do we have to do to make that next jump to really see this offense accelerate?
You know, it's something we talk about. It's doing your 111th, and then if everyone's doing their 111th, then, you know, we'll have a perfect play. 11 guys on each play doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, executing fundamentals, and just not trying to do too much. That's really what it's going to take, and we're getting there slowly. But I mean, even myself, you know, I won't do my 11th to the exact 11th I need to do, and sometimes it'll cost us. So it's getting everyone on the same page, having that chemistry, and I mean, once we start doing that, it's going to be scary how many touchdowns we're scoring.
For you as an offensive lineman, what's your favorite part of offensive line? Is it blocking for a run? Is it blocking for a pass? Is it keeping the quarterback upright? What is it?
Yeah, it's not letting Owen get hit. You know, Owen's one of my best friends that, you know, I grew into a man here with, like I said again, and So it's always just knowing that I got his back, especially when he can't see what's coming. You know, I always tell him that, and I mean it literally and figuratively. I always got his back no matter what. So that's been big. And then, man, it's just something about seeing a running back break. Like Dom London, I'll say, he's been struggling through things, and, you know, day by day he's been trying to work and grind, and he popped off an 80-yard touchdown, and that was just a great feeling, especially you just know how much it means to him. So just so you know you're helping him, you know, achieve one of his goals, or I mean even a dream if he wants to do what he wants to do. It's just such a good feeling to know that you had a part in that. And I mean, we don't really get that much recognition, but I mean, you look at the box score and you see Dom London had 145 yards rushing or whatever. I mean, that just feels good.
You know, the last question I have is, you know, going on the road 2 weeks in a row. It's not easy. We had a bunch of things happen. We had a kid in the hospital and before and after the game and all kinds of different things. But what do we have to do to even maintain, or how fun is it actually to go on the road and maintain a high level of performance?
Yeah, I love road trips. There's nothing better than, you know, not having to do anything school-wise on Friday and Saturday. You know, that's big for me. So getting on a bus with all your buddies, that's the best thing to me. And, you know, going into someone else's house and just kind of imposing your will on someone, it's just a good feeling. And I mean, you know, teams don't like to play, especially when you walk out on the field. Like Mary had no energy coming out. I mean, they played us really hard and right to the end, but you could just tell, like, they don't want to see us in their house. So it's just a good feeling to have and know that we kind of are feared when we go on the road.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today, and good luck at Wayne.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, Mitch Snitker will join us right after this.
Attention Warrior Nation, join the WSU Football Players Association on Friday, October 8th from 7 to 10 p.m. as we salute Coach Tom Sawyer for his 25 years as head coach of Warriors football. Everyone is invited for this night of food, fun, laughs, cheers, and tears, and all proceeds benefit Warriors football. Scan the QR code or visit WinonaStateFootball.org to learn more. Special thanks to our sponsors for making this incredible event possible. Space is limited, so don't delay. Register for the Salute to Sawyer event today.
Meet Jenny Soseski of Edina Realty. With nearly 30 years' experience, she knows that right now is the best time to sell your home. Jenny will help you get top dollar, higher than ever before. With today's low interest rates, it's time to upgrade your home and increase its value. High demand and low inventory also make this a perfect time to list your home. Call for a free market analysis. Contact Jenny Soseski at Edina Realty today, 507-458-7038.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. Time now to talk defense. Mitch Snitker joins us. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me today.
All right, first time that you're on the show, we try to do some research, find out about you, and find out some things to talk about. And when you were in high school, you were your high school's all-time leading rusher. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll kind of get into switching over to defense when you come here to Winona State.
Yeah, that just comes down to I had a great O-line in high school. A bunch of guys that are a group of friends, and got up there, blocked people really well for me. They were always in the weight room, you know, moving people really well. They were really good through high school, so I was busted at that.
All right, now you were a two-way player in high school, so you played defense. You had a lot of interceptions and some fumble recoveries and won a state title in high school. But you come here to Winona State as a defensive back. Tell us a little bit about what that transition was to just focusing on defense.
Yeah, no, it's different. In high school, I was at a really small school, so played both ways, and you know, it's different, you know, having to play both ways every game, and now coming into college, it's nice to just be able to focus on one side of the ball all the time.
You know, talking about Walk-On Iowa, being a Hawkeye fan, sorry about that, but you know, having your dad on the staff, you got a younger brother that's still there playing now. I mean, all of those things, and now you know I take over as your dad here in Winona. But what was that like having your dad as one of your coaches?
It was really special to be able to have him as a coach, and I got a couple uncles on the staff and cousins and stuff, so it's a really big part of our family back in Walk-On. I know my brother gets to go through the same thing, so it's really cool to have that experience.
Let's go back to what I talked about with Justin earlier, and that's those big plays. You know, Mitch, you've had your hands on a couple of footballs. You got one interception got taken away from you a couple weeks ago, but you got one this week. But You know, what's that like back there when that communication breaks down and something big happens? Because you guys are the last line of defense, and a lot of that falls on you, and I mean that in a real positive way, and we're in good hands back there. But what's the responsibility really like back there for a safety?
You know, it's frustrating when those big plays happen. What it comes down to, though, is just having great discipline, great eyes all the time, like our coaches preach. And then it's just flushing it and going to the next play and playing harder next plays.
Yeah, because you guys recovered really well, and the other thing we talk about is, you know, the tackles you've made, and a lot of tackles for losses as well. Coming downhill, and that you know that running back doesn't really see you coming. What's that like for you?
It's fun, you know. It's just, you know, the running backs in this league, they're really shifty, so you got to make sure you tackle them with great leverage and shoot our shot, like coaches are always saying, because we know we got people behind us that are going to be able to clean it up for us because we got guys running the football.
You know, Coach said Cam Gavin wasn't back there this week with you. What is the communication like between defensive backs and safeties, and you know, what kind of chemistry do you have to have?
As a safety, we're always giving our defense coverages calls, so it was different not having Cam back there this game. But Johnny's a really good football player, and you know, I knew he knew everything that he needed to know going into that game. So it was really an easy transition, just knowing that he knew what he had to do that game.
You know, the last thing I have is we're talking about defensively and against, especially passing teams like that. One, it's fun with this DB, but also going into this week where you have a little bit more multiple run pass like we're going to see down in Wayne. What kind of preparation do you have to do differently against a team like that?
Just really getting into film, seeing what their tendencies are, seeing how they block run, how they block pass, and then it just comes down to you got to keep working on having disciplined eyes and knowing when something's not right and it's a trick play coming. So.
Last question I have for you is just, you know, talking about discipline, because that's something that we continue to work on. It's just small penalties, offensively or defensively, that can really hurt you in a football game. What do the Warriors have to do to really be a little bit smarter in an overall game situation, especially defensively?
I think we just got to come together, pick each other up, you know, let each other know that at the end of the day, you know, we got each other, and just stay within ourselves.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming in this week, and good luck against Wayne.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. We're going to talk about Wayne State and that trip coming up this weekend right after this.
Attention Warrior Nation, join the WSU Football Players Association on Friday, October 8th from 7 to 10 p.m. as we salute Coach Tom Sawyer for his 25 years as head coach of Warriors football. Everyone is invited for this night of food, fun, laughs, cheers, and tears, and all proceeds benefit Warriors football. Scan the QR code or visit WinonaStateFootball.org to learn more. Special thanks to our sponsors for making this incredible event possible. Space is limited, so don't delay. Register for the Salute to Sawyer event today.
Meet Jenny Saseski of Edina Realty. With nearly 30 years' experience, she knows that right now is the best time to sell your home. Jenny will help you get top dollar, higher than ever before. With today's low interest rates, it's time to upgrade your home and increase its value. High demand and low inventory also make this a perfect time to list your home. Call for a free market analysis. Contact Jenny Saseski at Edina Realty today, 507-458-7038.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Russell and Associates. And Coach, you know, we've been kind of talking all season about, you know, things that you'll remember over the 25 years that you've been head coach at Winona State. I want to ask you, is there an opponent that you tried to get either here or travel to that you weren't able to get that you really wanted to play?
Yeah, I think, you know, like a Grand Valley and some of those teams that we tried to get on our schedule, and then when our conference grew too big where we didn't have any non-conference games, I really missed the non-conference schedule. Mm-hmm. Two things were a part of that. One is you just get to go play somebody else. Like one of our best memories is going out to play Carson Newman. We would fly our team into Atlanta, and we raised all the money and went and did it. And playing nationally ranked teams somewhere else. I always wanted to go to Colorado and play one of the Colorado School of Mines or Pueblo or something like that to get our kids to go experience new things. So that's part of it. And then we also always tried to play up. So we played North Dakota State, North Dakota, South Dakota State, South Dakota. UNI. I would have loved to go play, one of the directional schools in Illinois, just to see how we could compare to that level, and it really helps our recruiting as well.
All right, and is there any place that you're going to miss going to, or any opponent that you're going to miss coaching against?
Yeah, it's always the big schools. I grew up in northern Wisconsin, so the battle with Duluth, like down here, that was really fun. I know all the coaches, know all their kids, most of them anyway, and I grew up kind of halfway in between. So I love playing that rivalry, and us and Mankato, of course, is just a natural rivalry, and that's always been really fun. I'm not going to miss the trip to Minot and some of those other schools. It has nothing to do with who they are. It's just that long on the bus. And I really enjoyed all the years that we went to Bemidji, playing there in that setting by the lake. Those are the things that I'll remember, is just the kind of venue itself. Some places you go and there's just no environment there. But some of the stadiums are fun, like Bemidji, like I'll say, is, they have the long walk down like ours, and it's on the lake, and those are fun places to play.
All right, you mentioned Duluth, and they're kind of weaving their way into the script of this season. Wayne State goes and beats number 11 Duluth last weekend. Wayne State, you're going to be going to Wayne America to face them this week. Tell us a little bit about what you know about Wayne and what this game is going to be like this weekend.
Well, Wayne has a bunch of good skill kids again. I mean, it's like a broken record. We've said this now 3 weeks in a row, but it's the same. They have two different quarterbacks that they've used, so I don't know if one got hurt or what, or we'll see what's going on, but both are very good. Good quick running backs, very similar to Concordia with their speed. And then that receiver, we've seen it like 3 weeks in a row with the kind of athletes they have there. Defensively, they're pretty young. They're big up front, very, very strong. They got new coaches there a little bit, a new head coach anyway. And so it's changed a little bit, but they're very aggressive. But I think that we match up pretty well with them. Duluth did have 5 turnovers in that game, including the last drive of the game where they fumbled and they were going in to kick the the field goal to possibly win. So it wasn't the same Duluth team that played us, but it's also a lot to do with the way that Wayne State played.
There's a lot of parity in the league this year. I mean, you have a couple of teams that are winless. You have Augustana, I think, is the only undefeated team, but then you have everybody else kind of in the middle. Yep. Tell us a little bit about what that's like in this conference this year to face these opponents that really anybody could win any week.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fun. I mean, that's what we always hoped it would be, right? That every time you take your team on the road or at home, I guess it doesn't matter, but you know that you got to play your best football that day, or you got to scrap to find a way to win, and that's been the exact thing that's happened to us. It's not easy. College football is tough anyway, and in the Northern Sun, I think, from top to bottom, I think we're as good as anybody in the country.
All right, let's get the injury report. Obviously, we talked about the running backs and their situation. How do you feel as far as the injury report going into Wayne? Actually, really good. We may get, like I said, we might get Javian back, but we're pretty loaded at the running back position, so I'm not that concerned there. Cam Gavin will play. He didn't play. He played at the very end of the game, but he was struggling with some asthma stuff. So it was really kind of the air and where we were that was more of a problem. Maybe that really long bus ride, but he could have played. We just held him, so he'll be playing this week. So everybody else is back. We didn't lose anybody else in the game except Ty Gavin, a backup running back. But otherwise, we should be at full strength as far as starters go going into Wayne. All right, and for more information about Warrior football, you can go to the luncheons, which are held every week. Who do you have on the luncheon this week? Well, it'll be these same 2 guys, so it's kind of fun. I kind of double them up sometimes, and sometimes if they can't make it, I'll find somebody else. But yeah, noon at the Riverport. Had some great lunches. We show highlights and talk about the game, and then we'll talk about, just like we're doing here, try to give people information about the game, but again, an opportunity for student athletes just like this to come in and get in front of a group of people, and it's a good experience for their future. All right, thank you very much for the insight this week, and good luck against Wayne. Thanks, Justin, I appreciate it. All right, and thank you for watching the Tom Sawyer Show. We'll see you next time here on HBC TV 25.